Hi, I'm Chris Brown, and I am an alien. Let's begin. My name is Chris Brown, but I don't beat women. I'm from the Bay Area of California, and I've lived here my whole life. I am currently the age of 23 years old. I was born March 9th, 1986, and I love movies. Can I just say that? Um, basically, I grew up with movies around cinema, around production, around being the center of some sort of event atmosphere as a kid. I was a creator. I always liked creating movies as a kid. It's just what I was into. I would take the the video camera and as soon as I learned how to work a camera, I think I was 7 years old, and I would go around the house and I'd start filming things. And I would say, and this is where I eat my breakfast, and these are my huevos rancheros. And yeah, oh, that's another thing. I'm half Salvadorian. You couldn't notice that on first glance, but I am, and it shocks a lot of people. But I don't like to tell people I understand and speak Spanish, because then when they talk about me, then I can hear what they're saying and I can understand what they're saying, and they don't know I understand. So it's cool to have that, one-way street. Good times.
Sunshine, sunshine is fine. Feel it.
What do I do for a living? There's a lot of things I do for a living. I eat, I sleep, I drink water, and but for actual, money making, that's what you mean. Okay. For that sort of part of my life, I work events as an event facilitator at City Beach. I do many, 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 many events. I'm responsible basically to engage the people. Let's say, for example, Google is out there and or eBay, and they want to do a team building event. That's where myself or another one of my esteemed colleagues, there's only a few of us that are on microphone, but I'm one of them, and it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. I love acting goofy in front of people and engaging everybody, basically bringing everybody out of their shell, pretty much. Usually what I deal with is a lot of engineers that the manager just wants them to be more of a team. So they bring them out there, I bring them out there, and I engage them. At the very first start, they have their arms crossed, like, okay, what are we going to do out here? And then by the very end of it, they're fully engaged, and they're like high-fiving each other and slapping each other on the butt. And, it's a lot of fun, and it feels good to know that I brought that out of them. It's a good feeling. So I get on the microphone for about an hour, and I engage them with team building exercises, but I set it up as a competition. So, yeah. That's just one thing, though. I'm a Swiss Army knife of living, because you asked, what was the question again? What do you do for a living? That's right. On top of that, I work with a lot of magic sales, if you will. I have a DVD out entitled My Night with a Stripper, although to a lot of people's discontent, there is no stripper to accompany this DVD. Unless you order the special package, and in that case, then we can work out a deal. So I do that. I'm always working on something new, so I always have a few things coming down the pipeline, but you'll see that when it comes. Next question. I started magic right around the age of 19, so going on right around 4.5 years now. I've been doing magic, not too long. I know a lot of people who've been doing this for like 20, 30 years. It's crazy. It's cool to be in the presence of those people. I basically just try to surround myself with people who are better than me, so that it'll constantly inspire me, so I'll never lose inspiration, and I'll always want to up the ante and always try to be better than who I was yesterday. So back to the question, 4.5 years. What got me into magic? Well, this is a very unoriginal story, but David Blaine got me into magic. I was about 19 years old, and that's when I discovered this DVD that all my friends were referring to me. They're like, Chris, you gotta check this out. It's called Fearless by David Blaine. They all talk like that. It's really weird. David Blaine. So I was at Rasputin's picking up some DVDs, some movies, some music, whatever. And I was just looking around, and I saw Fearless at the store, and I was like, okay, all my friends have been talking about it. Why not? I'll give it a shot. I bought it, since I've always liked David Blaine anyway, so I was like, yeah, whatever, why not? So I brought it home, put it into the DVD player, and I watched it. And I sat there at the very, very first effect. My jaw was dropped. I think I like dropped the popcorn that I had in my lap. I was like, oh, I made a mess of buttery proportions, but I'm not about to clean it up because I'm watching David Blaine. That's what it was like, pretty much. So, yeah, that is what got me into magic. At that point, I was going through a lot of weird changes in my life, and basically, it was like my escape that I didn't know was my escape yet. So I tend to just surround myself with hobbies and things that I can work at, things that I can improve on, things that other people can say they are an expert at, pretty much. I love hobbies. I've been into those things since I was a little kid. So for me, magic, it was always right up my alley, but I've never really fully jumped into it. My brother taught me a few tricks growing up, and I would always do them for my friends, but they're just like little things. So I'm not going to say I've been doing magic since I was 2, like everybody else. So I'll be honest, I definitely started when I was 19 years old. So, boom. How would I define my style? It's a good question. Well, first of all, I'm not a magician. I just want to clarify that. I'm not a magician. I don't pull things out of other things. I don't make cheesy jokes, although I've heard a lot of cheesy jokes and some of them are pretty funny. But I don't make those jokes. I don't know. What a weird question to ask me. How would I define my style? I think I would define my style like somebody just basically wants to come up to you and show you something odd and not ask for anything in return. Only a high five and a smile and all right, have a good day. Later. That's all I want. All I'm here to do is to show you something that you've probably never seen before and to take you a little bit out of your element. It's a passion of mine to show new things to people, things that they've never seen before. Now to other magicians, you show an ambitious card routine and they're like, oh, ambitious card routine, ACR, day 1 stuff. But you show it to a layman, i.e. a person that is not a magician, you show it to them and they freak out because they've never seen it before, so you're showing them something brand new, and I love doing that. It's a passion of mine. So I would define my style as somebody who is just an everyday stranger that kind of blends in with society, but every once in a while will come out and show you something really odd that you weren't ready for, that might make you question some things in your life, that might go past just a card trick. It might leak into how you view your life and your work ethics and how you treat other people, all from having a little session of just watching me toy with your mind, pretty much. That is how I define my style. Next question. Well, it's pretty obvious. David Blaine has inspired me the most. I think everybody has that one person for them that they saw this person do magic and it hit them in a way that nobody else has ever hit them. Like, I've seen David Copperfield, I've seen countless other magicians. I went to a Siegfried and Roy show once, like as a kid, and all these things, they're like, oh, cool magic, but nothing has ever really broken through the barrier and really shook me and made me say, I need to do this. I want to become an expert at this. Where do I start? Put me in the path, or I'll just make my own path when I get there, and then maybe I'll have some people that might want to follow my path. If not, that's cool. I'm gonna go through this forest by myself, come back with a story that a lot of people are sure to enjoy. Getting back on track, where was I? The artist that inspired me, David Blaine. Yeah, David Blaine inspired me because of his simplicity and his delivery and his approach. A lot of people have said things like, David Blaine has no personality when he's doing magic. On the contrary, I believe that David Blaine presents his things in a very straightforward, cutting-edge way that a lot of people have yet to see in the everyday world. So a lot of people are used to magicians. When you say I'm a magician, they're used to, oh, you dress up and you have a little hat and you have a little bunny and you say abracadabra a lot and you say you have to use the power of your mind and magic and ta-da, and they imagine that automatically. So when you say to somebody, I'm a magician, then they're like, oh, that's cool, that's cute. And then you show them some stuff and they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. There's a reason behind that, okay? I'll get into that later, maybe. But So yeah, there's a reason behind that, and David Blaine has never presented his material in that way, and I love his approach. His approach is basically go in, hit you, and leave you. And I love that because like I've seen some people's faces after he does magic where they're just like, what happened? Can you do that again? I need to know the explanation, otherwise I won't be able to function. And I think we need that as people. And David Blaine just kind of highlighted that. He's like, boom, you guys need to feel this way. You haven't felt this way in a very long time, which is why we all love magic. You're never gonna find somebody that's like, magic sucks, I hate magic. So good luck. If you find one of those people, send them my way. I wanna give them a high five, take a picture with them because they are an iconic statue in the world of oddities. Let's move on to the next question.
I stand alone, burned every bridge over the troubled water.
There's a lot of videos that I favorited on YouTube, and videos that make me favorite them either show me something I've never seen, or they have a very, very creative way of doing whatever they're doing, or there's something that reminds me of something else. So if you show me a video that reminds me of being a kid in something, if I find some sort of counterpoint in a video that you've created, and I find some sort of connection with it, I won't know exactly what the connection is right away, but I'll favorite it, watch it a few more times, and let it sink in, and just kind of, absorb it, and I'll let my mind wear it for the day, see how it fits, and if I like it, then I'll figure out why I like it so much. So a video, in my opinion, that I've come to find that I've given 5 stars to are videos that make me laugh. A video that can make me cry. There's only been, I think, one that has done that. Basically, if you can extract an emotion out of me, if you can extract some sort of response out of me, whether it be anger, of course, if I was angry at the video, I wouldn't rate it 5 stars. Yeah, you made me angry, 5 stars. But it's something that I won't forget. So that's a little tip to anybody who wants to make film. Nobody ever got far in film by staying right around the boundary line and saying, okay, we're gonna play it safe. We're just gonna, we're gonna shoot it by the hip, shoot from the hip. If you notice, everybody has to take some sort of leap into one direction. Be bold, be yourself. That's another thing. If you want your video to earn 5 stars, if it's a magic video, show me who you are. Because all these videos I've seen on YouTube, I've seen a lot of videos, okay? Go look at my stats on my profile page. People would think I have no life, but it's not true. I have quite a life. But I've seen a lot of videos, and a lot of magic videos that I've seen show me that people know how to grab other people's things and show other people's things, and that's it. Boom. End of story. Show me who you are. Like, show me through the video who you are. Nobody ever made it somewhere just by impersonating. Unless you're an impressionist. That's the only way. I mean, that's like, you pride yourself, like Frank Caliendo. If you pride yourself on that, then go for it. You're going to be the best impressionist out there. But the way I see it, if you show me who you are, give me something new I've never seen before. Something that it'll sit me back and go, that's an interesting way of thinking. Basically, if you can broaden my way of thinking by any means, 5 stars, boom, hands down. So, it's got to have good camera work. Can't have just like a webcam. If you have a webcam, you better up the dosage and have some crazy stuff in front of that webcam. Something like a floating book. And then I want you to flip it to page 8. Okay? Once it's at page 8, I want it to ignite on fire. And when the ashes crumble into the palm of your hand, I want you to blow and have there be a little tiny unicorn that will gallop away. Alright? That's probably the only video with a very bad quality that I would rate 5 stars. Another thing, eye candy is also a very cool way to keep me interested and keep me watching. I know I'm a sucker for eye candy, but if you show me something that I'm like, ooh, that's kind of sexy to watch, then I will continue watching it and I will show it to my friends and family. That's all you gotta do. Simple. 5 stars, Chris Brown method. Next question.
Come with me.
The Wonka Vision Transpo is my favorite because I dreamt it. Like literally as literally as you see it, that's exactly how I dreamt it in my mind. And when I woke up, I thought, that's impossible. But I love when I say that. When I say that's impossible, because number one, I never say that. Number two, if I do say that, it makes me very, very pushed towards making it possible. So you can put my words in stone when I say everything that seems impossible in one way or the other can be possible. And if you believe me, then that's a start. Then we can go from there and we can be friends. All right. But yeah, Wonka Vision Transpo, definitely my favorite creation. As I'm doing it, I feel like I am Willy Wonka in a weird way. That's Gene Wilder is actually one of my favorite actors of all time, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one of my favorite movies, only because of how many metaphors and symbolism are involved with the movie itself. Like Charlie represents the good-hearted person with a good heart's going to make it at the end of the day. Everybody else that was greedy, they didn't make it. They didn't get the chocolate factory at the end of the day. And Charlie, he never had a lot of things growing up, and he kind of had to earn everything, and he valued everything too. So I think that's a really important lesson that is not highlighted throughout the movie, but as I got older, I realized that. So a lot of people, they go back and watch that movie, and they get tripped out like when they're an adult, rather than when they're kids. When they're kids, you're like, oh, chocolate factory, wee. They don't really see any symbolism at all, you know. It's just for the fun sake of it, and then they go play tetherball afterwards, you know. But that's definitely the Wonka Vision Transpo. It's my goal to do this for Gene Wilder someday. It's one of my goals. So hopefully that will be a future YouTube video. So Gene Wilder, if you're listening, I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna show you the Wonka Vision Transpo because you inspired me. Just so you know. Next question. I think that really depends. I can't really say I have an exact favorite. As far as back design, my favorite back design are the racerbacks, the vintage racerbacks. I think it's because they were around during the time of Erdnase, which makes me like think, oh, what if he had these? You know, what if he held some cards like these? And it makes me feel a little Erdnase-y, if I can say that. This juice is really good, by the way. Juice cooler. It's really good. Have you realized that you can't look manly when you drink from a straw? That would probably be the only way, but it's like really uncomfortable to drink like that. So my favorite cards, as far as gambling, as far as doing slights in front of people that I don't want them to see anything and I want to be 100% sure, boom. You gotta go with, I showed you the face. I was like, yeah, these. I thought that was the back. Very dumb. B deck. I would go with the B deck only because you can do anything. You could do like 40 passes, 6 DPSs, 40 side steals, and a partridge in a pear tree, and they wouldn't see it, okay? So because it's the back design, they can't see it. It's invisible. Hey, it doesn't even look like I have a deck. Look, where do my eyes go so they're invisible? Because it's the B back design. I will say though, my favorite deck of cards that isn't even born yet is the Expert deck. And the reason for that is because it will be created by Jesse Feinberg and myself. Next question. Do I follow online cardistry communities? The question, the big question. No. I do not. I post a little bit on the Magic Cafe every once in a while, every time and again, if I want to find out sources for a move that I think I created, but usually I didn't. Somebody else did before me, which is the only thing that sucks about Magic, is it's already been done many times before you. But yeah, like I like to go there and find out, you know, if my handling matches anything. And if it doesn't, then I'm like, hey, score! You know, I got something like a new handling, maybe. But other than that, I wouldn't go there just to hang out. A lot of people do. I don't, because I think the Magic community, they're a bunch of snakes. And yeah, I said it. They're a bunch of snakes in the Magic community. Everybody is out for themselves. Oh, a lot of them are. I'm not gonna say everybody, because that's pretty broad. But a lot of them, they bring a negative energy to themselves and the people around them. They create an aura of an ego, and basically they're trying to one-up everybody else. And I don't really like to associate myself with that sort of environment, so I just kind of steer clear of it altogether. So yeah, do I associate myself with online communities? No. The only other community that I'd ever like breeze onto would be dananddave.com in the forum section. If anybody has any questions about like a Venus trap or anything else that I put out with the bucks, um, you know, just so I can answer questions and sort of have that lightheartedness about that. But when it starts getting crazy, when a lot of magicians start going back and forth, claiming that they created something, when your handling is probably original, but the idea has been thought of many times before, which is why with the Venus trap I credited George Pugh, because he's the one who originally thought of that idea. So my handling is just a little different than his, that's all. But there's a lot of people out there that kind of bring that negative energy. So I that's not my vibe zone. Don't really like to hang out there, so no. As far as Flourishing goes, I don't really follow Flourishing too much. A little bit. I like Flourishing. I like putting flourishes in between everything, just for to make everything look seamless. A little bit of eye candy is okay, but I don't do that full on. But if you're asking that question, who I think is the best flourisher, man, that's I would have to say. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Dan and Dave Buck. I know, I couldn't think of anybody else. No, but I've seen a few people, and I've seen a lot of card flourishers, but I think that Dan and Dave have pioneered a lot of open doors, of new open doors that a lot of people don't really see yet, but I think they will later. And if some of the people who do see that, they're the ones that are on their website, dananddave.com, that see that and that realize who these guys are. They're young guys in the magic community, but they're very familiar with flourishing and magic, which is what's cool about them, is they're not strictly just flourishing. They do magic as well, which is cool. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, there's a lot of amazing guys out there. Jordan Lapping's really, really good. Everything I've seen him do, it's like very pristine, very cutting edge, and he's very professional with his handling. It seems like he puts a lot of time into his stuff, and I admire anybody who puts that much time and dedication into anything. So those are a couple guys that I think do very well as far as flourishing goes. As far as sleights, as far as handling of effects and things of that sort, I would have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna put all my chips in Ricky Smith. Without a shadow of a doubt. Every time I've ever seen Ricky Smith handle a deck of cards, like I can ask him, Ricky, can you show me this? I'm reading Erdnase and I don't know exactly what he means here. Can you? And then he would just say, yeah, sure. And he would show me, and I'm like, oh, that's just the most perfect handling of that I've ever seen. So, so yeah, Ricky Smith definitely. I would say he is my favorite card handler of all time. Maybe. I think so. Ricky will talk about this. We'll see. But yeah, so as far as flourishing goes, Dan and Dave and Jordan Lapping. And as far as effects and technique and sleights, I'd have to go with Ricky Smith on that one. I'm working on a book right now. I'm currently bouncing ideas back and forth with a title name. I'm thinking it's going to be Disconnect the Dots. I'm thinking it's going to be that because I love that idea of taking something, disassembling it, figuring out exactly what each piece means and what it does, and putting it back together again. I love that. Disconnect the dots. And you can apply that for everything in your life. So yeah, I'm working on a book right now. Due date, I don't know. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to push it. Because if you rush it, then it feels like you're doing it for money and you're doing it for some other, other reasons that are not organic and they're not true to your art form and why you want to do it in the first place. So right now, I'm letting inspirations come to me, and when they do, boom, I write in my laptop for, for the book. And so working on that, working on a deck of cards of Jesse Feinberg, the Expert deck. That's going to be exciting. I'm also working on a DVD possibly with Jesse Feinberg, and some upcoming projects with Dan and Dave Buck, most likely. So yeah, I'm constantly working on things for myself. So, but as far as like the later future, I would say my plans, which has been like my core plan since I was a kid and that I've always had. I want to get into film. So that's where I see my future. I see myself in 10, like let's just say 10 years from now. I see myself in film, the film business, and in magic. So I can I'll balance the two because I want to reach a point where people can come to me for any questions and I can tell them, oh, that's in this book and this page and this. I want to reach that level because I love magic so much that I would love to reach that point of expertise. I'm not there yet. 4.5 years, I got a long way to go. So yeah, I see myself in film. I've always seen myself living in a house with a couple kids, preferably 3, and with my wife at the time. So I would say within 10 years, I would like that to sprout into a reality. And it will. It's just a matter of me saying that it will, and it will. So basically, any direction that I want to put myself into, I will complete it. It's just a matter of me saying, I will do this, and I will do it. That's all it is. So even though my future plans, they sort of fluctuate and they change from here and there, my core self has always been attracted to that lifestyle, which is go out, leave your mark for the world, leave behind something that will change people for generations and generations to come. So I want my kids, their grandkids, their grandchildren to be able to read my book, to see how I thought about things. And because I've always thought it to myself, how cool would it be if I stumbled upon a book that my great-grandfather made, like in his time era. I would love to read that, it'd be so cool. So it'd be so fascinating just to like take a dive into his thought process at that age, at the age of 23 nonetheless. So I would love to do that. So book, DVDs, cards, more on-demands, and quite possibly a lot of single projects that I'll be working on my own in the next few years. I'm definitely expanding right now into film production, into lighting, into audio, into camera work, lenses, and fly cams, and just everything that you could think of. Trolley tracks for the camera shots, and just everything. So it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I'm also going to be working on throughout the years. So yeah, eventually I'll reach that point where all my thoughts, all my hobbies, and all my projects will feed me income, so I won't have to worry about that aspect. So I can worry about myself. So I could focus on myself and my family and help other people out around me to bring them up to my position as well, so they can do the same thing for other people. I think that's what it's all about.
Lay it down with sound waves that pound pavement, original mint.
Where can we see you performing live? I perform live at City Beach, where I work all the time. It's a weekly thing. I go there all the time. And if I'm not working an event there, I'm there on my off time just hanging out. We have rock climbing there. There's a bunch of stuff to do there. It's a lot of fun. Basically, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese for adults. There's everything there. A lot of my videos were actually shot at City Beach. There was Card Magic 3 that was shot at City Beach. Parts of Arthritis Onslaught 3 were shot at City Beach. Card Magic 2 was also, parts of that was shot at City Beach. And a bunch of other places. Anytime that you see me on a pool table or something like that, that's City Beach. So that's my home. That's my second home. I love that place. When I'm doing events there, I always do magic. So if I'm doing facilitation, like if I'm facilitating for the event, with the microphone, I'm engaging and talking to people and communicating and basically bringing everybody out of their bubble. I always bring out magic just because I love doing it. It's just a passion of mine. And so you can literally see me doing magic at anywhere that I am. Literally. Like you could say, Chris, show me something. I'm having kind of a rough day. Like, sit down, let's do this. Or I'll say stand up on your head and let's do this. And that'll be a cool new way of doing it. So yeah, very well. You could very well see me doing magic upside down for all you know. Who knows? We'll see. Well, I would say that they're two different things. Flourishing and magic are two different things. To me, flourishing is like breakdancing next to choreographed dancing. Breakdancing, it's more just like freestyle. It's just kind of like you just feel it and you just do it. I think flourishing is like that. Flourishing is cool to watch. It's eye candy, and it makes you just go, whoa, like that's crazy. But on top of that, it does also make the spectator think, oh, he's just really talented with his hands, you know, like he's spent a lot of time working on that skill, rather than in Magic when you're showing them an effect where they don't see any sleights, they don't see any movements, they don't see any crazy handlings, and you show them something in its organic, true form. You show that to them, and they no longer, it's no longer about how skilled your hands are. It's now about what just happened. So basically, it's a different location of focus, is what it is. So Flourishing focuses more on your skills. Magic focuses more on the experience, about suspending logic for a little bit. So Flourishing, they can see, they're like, okay, well, I can see how everything's working, and it makes sense, but that's hard. I can't do that. You know, that's amazing. That's cool. So either way, you're still gonna get like people that will like what you're doing. It's all about what you want to leave them with. Do you want them to go home thinking that, oh, he's really skilled? Or do you want them to go home and think, okay, now there's gotta be a way this was possible. That doesn't seem possible what he did. Wow, how did that happen in my hands? I did that, not even him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like, to me, I think it's more rich for the experience when you show them actual magic. And that's why I try to avoid full-on Flourishing, unless I'm warming up or I'm just with friends or something like that, or if they know me. But usually when people like approach me, if they see me with a deck of cards, they say, "Oh, are you a magician?" And right away I say no, but what? Maybe I can show you something. I don't know. Here, just take one out. Just take a card out. I don't know. We'll go from here. So I don't like to leave labels on anything. So yeah, I would agree with old school magicians that say that it is not magic, because it isn't. But I wouldn't say that it kills magic, because it is its own subject. So I like it's cool. It works on its own playing field. Ricky Smith. If you can get him to do an interview, I'm pretty sure it'd be one of those interviews that will be replayed over and over again. I'm not gonna hype him up. I'm not gonna say anything crazy about him. I'm just saying I would like to see an interview with Ricky Smith. I think everybody would love to see that. And people who don't know Ricky Smith, you need to just dive into his brain for a little bit, because it's quite a voyage. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, better get on that. Get on that, Cuso. Do it. Do it, son. My favorite magicians would have to be David Blaine, Di Vernon, Erdnase, Marlowe, John Rockerbomber, Leonard Green. I love Leonard Green. Ricky Smith, Dan and Dave Buck, John Bodine. There's a lot of guys out there. A lot of guys. Ernest Eric. Those are a lot of the guys that I have read about, or that I've come to know in one way or the other, whether it be from their books, whether it's from an instructional, or whether it's meeting them. These are all people that have some sort of influence in the way I handle magic, the way I do things. So basically, I think it's really important to have people like that you can look up to, because it keeps you, number one, it keeps you humble. I don't trust a magician that doesn't have any other favorite magicians. I don't trust a card handler who's like, well, I don't know, there really isn't anybody good out there. I think that everybody needs to have your core inner circle of people that you can at one point or another look up to, or look at and kind of study and reverse engineer why he is the way he is and what he does. And then you put in who you are, take what they have done and try to apply that in yourself to make yourself better. So instead of taking all these people and mimicking everybody, you take what their strengths, such as their confidence, how they handle a deck of cards, the time they put in, little things like that. Not so much the actual technique and their actual pattern that they say. I'm talking about more of just who they are as a person and getting deeper into them. And then you can see like what makes them successful. And if you can take the way that they became successful and apply it to your methods and your ideas and who you are, you can just advance on yourself. So yeah, so I think the number one thing is, remain yourself, remain who you are, and people will like you for you if you present yourself in a whole, natural, unfiltered way. Don't try to prefabricate yourself, which is why I tend to stay away from a lot of extensive patter, which is, all right, so the two Jacks were the brothers, okay? Now, what comes first, the red or the black? Ah, you weren't paying attention, I see. Okay, well, let me back this up. Now, pattern is cool and everything, but that's a whole other discussion. Actually, yeah. Wait, I have creative control over these questions, so let me just put up the next question. Ready? Here we go. What do I think about patter? Huh. Interesting question, Cuso. Thank you for asking me that. Patter. When I'm performing magic for people, everyday people, I try to, and for animals, I try to minimize the patter to a very, very tight group of sentences that steer them in a direction, but let them complete the rest of their voyage themselves. I think that's way more powerful. I love the idea of giving somebody something, letting them figure it out, and then walking away from it. Not so much like, okay, this is what happens. I put the card here, and then it jumps up to the top from magic, and blah blah blah. You know, so don't try to fill in all the gaps for them. That's half the fun, is filling all the gaps yourself. So you let them do it. I love that. I love that so much. So I think patter somewhat takes away from that, and bad patter can be seen a mile away. I remember before I was really into magic, I would see somebody with bad patter, which is basically a lot of this, a lot of talky, and they weren't really doing anything. They weren't really saying anything. It's kind of like they talked for 10 minutes, but really didn't say a word to me. That's what it felt like. So it felt like nothing they said hit me on any level. So it just kind of felt like I was lost and I was a ship without a sail, pretty much. So that's why I like to leave everything. I leave all the talking to the cards and to them. If they ask me questions, I'll answer back in like a one-word response, something very vague, something for them to just puzzle over. Because I think that when you supply magic in that format, it hits them on a different level. You're no longer a magician. Now you're somebody who has shown them something that they have never seen before. See how like the title switches? They can't really describe you as a magician. Now they're describing you as something else. They don't even have a name for you, which is what I love. I don't like labeling myself as anything. I am not a magician. I'm not anything. If somebody asks me, what are you? I don't know. What are you? What kind of a question is that? If I could give any advice to the up-and-coming card handlers out there, I would say persist. Never stop. If you stop, that's the only thing that could prevent you from exceeding in anything. The main reason why people, they don't prevail, they don't go forward in what they're doing, is because they think they're not moving quick enough. On the contrary, it takes a while to get to your destination. You just have to keep going. You'll never see a professional card handler that says, oh, I just started this last week. No. It starts by you when this was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when you started doing this passion. All right? They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Put in your time. You need time to become an expert at any art form, whether it be singing, baseball, whether it's piano, guitar, anything, robbing banks, same thing. You gotta have a skill for that too, you gotta build on that. But I think that's the main downfall for a lot of card handlers. That, and they try to just take something that's already been done and redo it without putting themselves into it. Literally just taking something and flat out just giving it to somebody else. That's cool from a performance aspect. That's fine. It's completely fine. But if you're trying to go forward, if you're trying to up the ante, if you want to leave a name for yourself, if you want to start, constantly beating yourself, basically beating who you were yesterday, then that's what it's all about. It's not about being better than everybody else. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. Because if you spend all the time worrying about everybody else, you're going to be very unhappy. Because there's always going to be somebody who's better than you, who's faster, somebody who's a little bit, something they can do that you haven't really worked on yet. Okay, so that's one word of advice from me is don't give up, persist, and don't think about other people. Think about you, because that's where everybody gets lost. Everybody gets lost in that. And try to stay away from really getting into the whole magic community drama. You don't need it. You're better off without it. And if they like what you're doing, that's fine. If they don't, that's cool too, you know? And be respectful, and don't ever approach somebody in a very egotistical way, especially somebody who's been in the art form for many, many decades, many years, and they have their experience. They have earned their title. They've earned the notches on their belt. So give respect where it's due to the people who inspire you. And another thing, never forget to always have somebody that you can look up to, somebody that you can say, wow, he is so much better than me at this. Or, you know, of course you wouldn't focus that on a daily basis. It's just something to constantly inspire you, to light a fire under you, to make you want to be better. And on top of that, you can see your progress by if you film yourself, or if you document, you keep a notebook, you leave everything in text format for yourself. Just be better than who you were yesterday. And I mean that in all aspects, not just magic, with everything else. So I would say that's my advice to you. And on top of that, once you have a hobby, a passion, which is, if you're watching this video, you know, a lot of you are card handlers. You guys are all card sharks, cardists. All of you have a passion, you have a hobby. Capitalize on that. A lot of people, they don't even have that. They don't have a passion, they don't have a hobby, and they feel like they're lost. They don't have a direction, they don't have a place to go. And believe it or not, hobbies and passions, they are stress relievers, and they give you a lot to do. So the more time that you have devoted to your passion and to your hobbies and the things that make you happy, then the more happy moments you will have, thus giving you more happiness in your life. So that's where it all comes down to in the end, is being happy, because isn't that something that we all want? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's something that we all want. So in my closing words, I will say, never give up. The people who give up never reach the end of their destination. And the only way you get there is by continuing. On every aspect of your life, continue. Move forward, press on. Go to a few quotation websites. You're going to read all about how persistence plays a role. All right? So, I hope you enjoyed this interview. And thank you, Cuso, for giving me this interview. And I will see you guys in the future. Be sure to hit me up on my Facebook at facebook.com/orbitbrown. myspace.com/orbitbrown, twitter.com/orbitbrown, and you guessed it, youtube.com/orbitbrown. I will see you guys again, hopefully in your dreams. And if that happens, it'll be kind of scary, and I want to hear about it. So contact me on any of those on any of those websites, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.